It's a great excuse to get out in the woods, you know. I have to go work.
Matt Patterson is an illustrator who paints mainly woodland creatures that go unnoticed in their natural habitat, blending in and crawling under the radar. Until now.
This is my new book, Snake and the Salamander, and it's reptiles and amphibians in the Northeast, and there's 83 different species in here, so I think for the book I did like 94 illustrations.
The book is packed with reptiles and amphibians. They are, after all, Matt's soft spot.
Polly is a three-toed box turtle that I've had for like 22 years, and then we've had Eddie for 10.
When asked where his love of small creatures and art began, Matt says it goes so far back he doesn't remember.
Everyone asks me that question, and I guess I don't remember. I've always liked these two things, like art and wildlife, so I've kind of always been born liking that. My parents really encouraged me growing up, so I guess I've just been doing that when I was little, drawing and painting, and kind of doing the same thing today.
His dad was a high school biology teacher. He helped to foster his son's love for animals, and the two even wrote a book together.
So this is the first book I did, Freshwater Fish of the Northeast. So my dad did all the writing for it. So this has 61 species of fish, you know, all the fish you could probably encounter around here.
From fish to frogs, Matt's style and process remains the same.
I like to stain my illustrations, the background, tone it with coffee, so it kind of gives it that older, you know, natural history look to it. I draw it out with pencil first, and then kind of build up the tones and stuff with washes and acrylic and gouache.
He goes to work every day in his studio, a cabin he built right in his backyard, heated by a salvaged wood stove and surrounded by sunlight and his subjects.
These are all the originals from the book, The Snake and the Salamander. So a lot of work right here, a lot of hours and years.
When he's not drawing or painting, Matt is out gathering research. Every illustration in The Snake and the Salamander had to not only be beautiful visually, but also accurate in anatomy and habitat.
The painted turtles are, you know, pictures and reference. I took kayaking. When I could, I went out and looked for my own, you know, reference photos and stuff. I always have a lot of different photos to kind of get different angles and, you know, anatomy to make sure I don't copy a photo, but like I'll look at a lot of different angles and make sure I get everything right.
The latest book is unique not only in its subject, but also in the layout.
Instead of just like a field guide, it's more like a coffee table book, art book, combined with like a field guide. So instead of just like snakes, salamanders, turtles, lizards, it's organized into habitat. So the chapters are habitats, and it has like, you know, those types of snakes and turtles that are found in that habitat.
One look at Matt's paint palette, and it's clear there is more than just yellow and brown when it comes to illustrating the reptiles and amphibians of the Northeast.
That's a female, that's a male, and that's a juvenile, so it's the same species, but they're all, I mean, if you looked at them, you could think they were all different, you know, different types of lizards, just because the coloration is different. I like snakes, but snakes are hard, believe it or not, to paint, because there's no like legs or arms or anything to like reference points, so everything has to be like the scales have to wrap around just right, or they look flat.
Aside from subject, Matt's illustrations stand out from the crowd because he brings something personal to them.
They're all in like a little tiny piece of a habitat, so some of them are doing stuff. This little tiny scene is based off of when I was little. I was with my dad, and we're in Peterborough, and we're walking along a brook, and I saw a wood turtle in the bottom walking, and so like I dove down and, you know, picked him up.
Painting isn't the only way Matt connects with nature. He also makes 3D sculptures made of paper.
These are paper and wood, so the bodies are carved out of wood. like the form of them. And then each feather is cut out of paper and tediously cut out of paper and painted and then attached. I've always liked wood carving, and there's a lot of people who do wood carving, so this is it's like a twist on it. It's a little different.
With such a creative connection to nature, Matt doesn't feel the need to limit his mediums, but does say there is just something satisfying about holding the final product after he's completed a book.
When you're done, you have like a series of work all compact, and like right there you can hold and people can see, and it's a nice feeling.
He hopes that people who pick up the snake and the salamander will start to notice all the colorful creatures hiding right under their nose.
I hope they develop appreciation. I mean, people who are interested in this, the subject will like it, and I think hopefully people who aren't as familiar with the subject will get an appreciation for it and, start to research it more and be interested.